I'm ready to dive in. I'm excited for this episode. I think
Okay,
it'll
good.
be good. I mean, I feel like I can speak on it so much, right? Because
hmm
like been there, done it,
Yes, for sure.
got the t-shirts.
I feel like we can also revisit this with a guest at some point as well, like have somebody else's like POV on it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. I will do the intro.
Yep, thank you. You ever finally sit down, like really sit down, and that's the exact moment someone yells your name from the other room?
Oh yeah, every time. It's like the universe knows. The second I get comfortable, someone needs a snack, the dog's barking, or my phone's ringing. Welcome to I Just Sat Down, the podcast for moms, women, and multitaskers who do it all and somehow still manage to laugh about it.
I'm Desi, mom, entrepreneur, serial enthusiast, and fully committed to figuring it out as I go.
And I'm Krystal, multi-passionate entrepreneur, mom of chaos, coffee enthusiast, and believer that a good laugh can fix almost anything.
So whether you're listening in the car, hiding in the bathroom, or actually lucky enough to sit down,
grab your coffee and let's get into it. Welcome to I Just Sat Down. Hi, friends. Welcome back to I Just Sat Down, the podcast where we talk about motherhood, ambition, healing, and building a life that always actually fits you. Today, we're talking about something that so many moms secretly dream about, but aren't always sure how to start becoming a mompreneur. If you've ever thought, I want more freedom, I want to build something of my own, I don't want to choose between my kids and my calling, this episode is for you. We're not talking hustle culture, we're not talking burnout, although we could. We're talking sustainable, aligned, real life business building as a mother, because you don't have to abandon yourself to raise your family. So, today's episode, I feel like, is just so valid in our culture right now. I mean, I feel like us being in Canada, you know, especially in Ontario, like I feel like we're just unfortunately, I don't want to get political, but we're unfortunately in a government right now that kind of makes us feel like we're poor, even if we're not. Like there's still lots of people, especially women, out there killing it, making tons of money. Like the potential is there, but I think anytime somebody's starting to think about a business, you're hit with a lot of it's really tough, like don't do it, no one has any money, our economy is failing, this isn't the time to start a business, etc., etc. And it's like, listen, I know this out of just, I am a serial entrepreneur, literally by trade, thank you. And like I've just continuously started new things, tried things that have failed, tried things that were great, but maybe it just wasn't the right time, they didn't align. There's never going to be that magical right time to start something. There really isn't. Yes, you can start something and it can absolutely take off. It can be the right thing. That's usually just the universe being like, "Hi, you waited so long that I'm literally going to give you everything you need or everything you've ever wanted right now because you finally did the damn thing." You know, I don't believe in this like magical moment that like there's this perfect time to start something. Any business, side hustle, your full-time gig, it takes everything you've got. And if you throw everything you've got at it, then you're going to be successful, right? I think I feel like I see this a lot in like the network marketing industry because there are women who go on and they kill it. They literally put everything they have into this business and they're successful. And then you get people who see that success and think, oh, okay, well, they're just, growing a team underneath them and, they're having people come on and that seems easy. I can do it because it looks easy from the outside. But on the inside of it, these women who are making a killing are busting their ass and also putting everything they've got into it, right? So also you have to look at like how long has this person been doing it? So I find a lot of people in network marketing are comparing their beginning to someone else's middle or somebody else's end.
Mhm.
And in that, that's where the failure comes in because, you work at it for 6 months, but they did it in 6 months, but they did it differently.
Mhm.
Or their following is a little bit bigger, or their community is more supportive around them.
Or
Like,
wasn't as saturated at the time when they started, kind of thing. Yeah.
exactly. Like there's so many different factors that comparing yourself to others, I feel like that's what brings in a lot of failure for the specifically like the network marketing kind of group because you see these people doing things so quickly and you don't get there, so you feel discouraged. You feel like it's never going to happen for me. I can't do it. And there are people who change their mindset
Mhm.
into why not me? I can do this and then succeed in the business, right? I think like maybe not everybody's not going to want to do network marketing. I feel like there's such a
There's a big cliche around
stigma.
it because I was gonna say that's something that you've always kind of done was network marketing, and it works for you because you work at it. Whereas
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who enjoys doing network marketing. It's never been something for me. It's something that I've definitely looked at being like, okay, like this is really cool. Like there's rewards, there's bonuses, there's trips, there's all these really cool things around it. But it's not something that appealed to me in a way that I was like, this is something that I want to do full time. Right.
Right. And honestly, like I don't do network marketing anymore. I was doing doTERRA. I got out of it because I found I was spending more money than I was actually earning.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it came down to I just don't have time. I don't have time to host the parties and host the workshops and those types of things because I'm already working a full-time job. Enter now being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So it just didn't really, I mean, I see it and I know that it can be successful if it's something that you really want to do, if it's a product that truly aligns with you. And oils did, and they still do. I still use them almost every day. Like I have them right beside me. I'm always using them, but I just didn't have time to commit the time that's necessary into that business.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think, like, for me, when I first started photography, I wasn't a mom. So, like, it was easy to build that business because I could put everything into it. And I think the fear around becoming a mompreneur after you've already had a baby is like, when am I going to find the time to do this?
Mm-hmm.
But I think just putting it into the little pockets of your day definitely does work, depending on what it is, right? Um,
Like
I know for
I feel like being on the other side of it, like I was doing corporate for most of my life until I had kids, and even after having kids, I was still doing the corporate thing because it felt like it was the right thing that I was supposed to do. But when you get to that point in your life where you're like, that's not my priority is not the 9 to 5 and hustling, trying to climb this ladder that everyone's pushing you down from. Like my priority for me is like I personally don't care if I make, thousands of dollars every week so that I could, and that's still a possibility. But in the moment when you're trying to figure out the switch from the corporate to the entrepreneur space, it's like, I'm willing to take a hit to have that time with my kids. My kids are only little for a couple of years. Like, why not, quote unquote, struggle a little bit during those younger years. And then I can get back on the ladder if I want to in a couple of years when they're a little bit older and they're doing their own thing. Like it's only, to me, it's such a small space. It's such a small window when they're this young. Like they'll be adults forever, just
yeah.
give yourself the grace while they're younger that there's so many moms when they go on mat leave where they're like, how the hell do I go back to this every day, all day. You work all day, you come home, you make dinner, you put them to bed, and then you feel like what kind of a upbringing is that? What kind of motherhood? What kind of life is that? But also, you guys, we do what we have to do. So like
Yeah.
if that is your life right now, that's not a bad thing. That is what is getting you to be able to raise your kids the way that you want to, you know? This being a mompreneur is like such a trendy word, yes, but it's not for everybody. And that's not us putting pressure on it or anything like that. This is, we're having this conversation today so that if that's an option that you want in your life, we are here to help you kind of get those point notes, start making the ideas kind of run through and figure out what kind of things you can do to put yourself in that motion of the next thing. And we know it's scary.
Yeah.
It's
And
terrifying.
hey, listen, like a 9 to 5 with benefits and
Mhm.
vacation time, and those
Sick
things
leave.
sound great
Yeah.
because, especially from me, like I know I've said this before, but I went back to work at 6 weeks because no one else is doing it for me because I have this lovely buzzword title of a mompreneur, right?
Mhm.
So, like, it's not all amazing. Do I get to be home when I want now? Yeah, because I have learned to, fit my job with being a mom. And that wasn't the case at the very beginning because I had weddings booked before I even found out I was pregnant. Before I peed on that stick, I had tons of weddings booked for that year. So I had to figure out just how to do that. But
Mhm.
anyways, I figured it out. I look back at that time now and like people will look at me and they're like, "You did what?" And I'm like, "I don't really know. I just did it because that was just how it had to be." And I think that's something that fits into this. If you are someone who's literally sitting listening to our podcast thinking, I need something more. I want to do something more. If you bake or you knit or you thrift really well, like there's money in that.
Mhm.
There's so money in that, right? And you just have to find those little kind of pockets of time to commit to doing those things and making moves to start that business, right? Start the Instagrams, start posting about it on your personal page. And you don't have to start a whole new Instagram. I
Mhm.
am also a serial Instagrammer,
Same.
multiple pages. um, but I think a lot of it comes down to that mindset shift, right? That mindset shift. You need to give yourself permission to start that thing that you're passionate about, And here's the thing, I don't know about everybody else's algorithm, but my algorithm is literally filled with moms specifically, coming on being like, I'm making 10 grand a month from my phone. I'm making X amount of money from my phone. And like, well, that's amazing. You need to start somewhere. That's not where you're going to start,
Mhm.
right? So, in order to get to a place where you are making money from this side hustle or this side gig, you need to get over those things in your mind that are blocking you from that. So, telling yourself that, like, that could never be me, or um, I can't do that, or I don't want to take time away from my family. You need to get over the guilt of making a space for something that you enjoy, right? Because that's going to make you happier. That's going to make you feel better, right? And, a lot of the times, we lose ourselves just a little bit in motherhood, right? It can become chaotic, especially if you're somebody who does work a 9 to 5. You go from working Monday to Friday every single day, and then all of a sudden you're at home without, I mean, sorry, not without a purpose, because you absolutely have a purpose, but you can feel like, what am I doing? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here? Is this what I'm meant to do now, is just, take care of this screaming baby all day long? So I think that's where we kind of get into, that just that urge, or that, like,
You can put pressure on yourself to do something more.
right.
Or
Yeah,
like,
you do.
hey, how can I contribute better financially while I'm on maternity leave? Or
Right.
so many things that like we're like the mental load that mothers take on is just like beyond. Like I don't think
Yeah,
people
it's
can write
huge.
it out to explain how severe it is because I saw a video this morning of a mom who just packed the whole car, planned the whole trip, did all the things, and the husband's like, you could smile. And it was like, she's like, I literally just did this. All you fucking did was take a shower and get ready to go. And it's so true because like we
You
know,
asked me where stuff is 45 times.
right? Because we are constantly, our brain is always trying to protect and we are trying to figure out what's next and what we need to do and who needs to be taken care of. And yeah, sometimes we look at the dad and we go, like, what do you think about all day? Nothing. Yeah, we know. But,
Like, how do you go to sleep in 0.5 seconds?
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
get it. My brain is running, running,
all
running,
the
and
time.
he's just like, shuts off. And I'm like, oh, okay, good night.
Good
Cool.
night. Yeah. But I feel like, so for me, it was more so, like I did the corporate thing for years. COVID hit, and that was my kick in the ass because I was struggling to do the work from home, teach from home because school was hard. We had all the
Right.
activities at home. It was like all the things all at once. And yes, I drank a lot during that time because my body was so overwhelmed and stressed out. And I was like, what is this life right now? Like where, like we don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know
Mhm.
what's going on around us or whatever, right? So it was
Yeah.
a lot of like, okay, let's start like thinking of ideas and writing things down and but I'm more the serial hobbyist. I was the one that would go from one thing hyper focused onto the next thing, and I'm still like that. But it was
Right.
like in the moment, it was like, okay, well, how can I make money off of crocheting? Okay, I can crochet hats. Do you know how long it takes to crochet a damn hat? I did not have a ton of time
100%.
with toddlers, right? And then it was like the makeup, and I thought, okay, I can give makeup lessons through Zoom to people and try to help people feel their best self because everybody's doing TikTok at that time. And
Yeah.
this could be a whole thing, and that didn't work out. And like I feel like I tried to do beauty YouTube. There's been so many things that I tried, but you know why they didn't work out? Because I wasn't consistent. I didn't
Right.
give much effort to anything that I was doing. I kind of was like, oh, this sounds like a good idea. But the most successful people are the ones that are consistent and
Yeah.
put, like you said, you have to put a lot of time and energy into the things that bring you this joy in order to have it become into a business plan. And in Ontario, the steps to having a business is first, figuring out what it is that you want to do. You want to go on and register that business if you want it to make money. Like this is something that one of the steps you need to do is go on and make sure that you have a business number if this is something that you're going to be focusing on as a full-time job,
Yeah.
right? We don't want we
Yeah.
don't need copyright or trademark issues here. So we want to
No.
make sure that we are a full-on business. So I remember going on to the Ontario business website and I was like, okay, how do I register a business? But it was like getting at least that point down to ensure that I was serious about what my next steps would be. I'm not a marketing queen. I know nothing about marketing my business. So I always say, like, if the right people are meant to come to me, they will. It's not a good business plan, but also it's kind of like a little bit. I'm not stressed out about bringing in the wrong people either because I'm not
Yeah.
chasing after whatever like the shiniest penny. Um, but once you register your business, yes, definitely look into social media and how social media can help you. You can look into whatever it is that you're doing. So for me, I have my cleaning business, I have my custom apparel. Those are the two things that I do in my life that bring in finances.
Yeah.
And you have to go on to find the local Facebook groups where you can advertise your business. Don't be those annoying people that advertise every day, but find the ones where you can gain some traction. Talk about there's other apps like the Nextdoor app, which is local if you're doing a local business type thing, right?
Right.
There's so
You can
many
do
things.
markets.
Yes, and
Markets
then
are
depending on what the
good.
business is, yeah, you can do markets and get your name out there and
Start an email list.
mm,
If I've learned anything from Jenna Kutcher, she doesn't do her podcast anymore, but literally start an email list. It's the best thing. It's the only thing you own in your business. So if you start this beautiful Instagram account and you grow and you have, tens of thousands of followers, that's great. But if Instagram goes away, so do all those people.
yeah.
So it's very important to build an email list to be able to contact previous customers, customers that you've piqued an interest in. Right? Like that's something that is yours, is your email list. So it's very important, especially for a small business, because it's a great way to reach out to people who've already seen your business, already like your stuff. You can let them know if you have sales coming up or what markets you're going to be at, or if you start a Facebook group or an Instagram page. Like, these are all things that you can use an email list for. And there's lots of free ways to do that, because I think that's where people kind of get stuck sometimes. Like, the money aspect of it, right? Like, we're paying you, oh, we have to design this website and register your business. Like, these things cost money, right? So I think if you just take into accountability the things that you can do for free, like advertising on Facebook,
Mhm.
posting in the mom groups, that kind of stuff, that's a great way to kind of get your business out there.
And branding yourself and wearing it everywhere you go.
There
No.
you go.
But there's
Love
like free
that.
options, like a free Canva account to kind of start designing what you want your
Right.
logo to look like, play around with your name and the designs and the styles. There's
And
lots of people that will help you with stuff like that also.
And I do see it a lot. Like, people are like, oh, well, like, I don't know how to make reels, or, I don't know how to use Canva. Have you ever heard of this thing called YouTube? Because it has thousands and thousands of videos on there that are like made for dummies, step by step ways and how to do things. Or there's even people on Instagram who are willing to show you how to use Canva, how to use all of these different tools. So I think people try and put excuses in front of a lot of, starting their businesses. Excuses are easy, guys. Like, so easy. I make an excuse every day why I'm not outside walking my dog. I make an excuse for so much, right? We all do. It's just like human nature, right? We can talk ourselves out of literally anything. But I think trying to talk ourselves into starting a business is kind of where, if it's been on your heart, then start talking yourself into it. Start telling yourself, hey, I can watch a YouTube video on Canva every day for 10 minutes.
Mhm.
You're going to learn so much, you
I'm an
know?
honor roll graduate from the school of YouTube. Everything that
There you
I've
go.
ever picked up was from YouTube. So I wholeheartedly agree with this. Yeah. And all these little intuitive drops, like you're saying, like when these things come up, these thoughts come up. I mean, what's the harm in kind of taking the next step and looking into this? Like, is this something reasonable that I can do? Like, you like to bake, and then you're like, you have this thought all of a sudden where you're like, oh my gosh, I could totally sell these. Okay, well, look into that. Take that. I could totally sell these. Take that and start looking
And
into, okay,
go.
but if I sell them, what do I need? Do I need a license? Do I need insurance? Do I need, how hard is it to go from point A to point B for you to be able to make the cookies to then sell the cookies, right?
Right.
And then look at different markets. Some markets are free, some markets are donation based, some markets are extravagant and ridiculously priced. Maybe avoid those ones at the
Amen.
beginning.
Yeah, really.
There's so
Because,
many different
and
options.
especially with markets, because I feel like it's hit or miss. Just because it's a market that you're going to for free, that could be the most amazing market. If you pay upwards of $200 to $300, that could be the worst market that you've been at. So you have to kind of like balance that out and think about those things. And also think about like who's going to be coming to these markets, or seasons as well, right? Like, seasons definitely you need to take that into consideration. If you're making something that is like for us, for Ace Magnets, I feel like it does really well at markets closer to the holidays because people are like, oh, this is an amazing gift for grandparents or whoever it may be, right? But or makes good like stocking stuffers. All of those things come into account, right? If we're going to a spring market, people might not necessarily be there thinking about gifts. So that might not be something that does well. I don't know. We've only been in
Mother's
business
Day
for
market, Father's
right.
Day.
Yeah, exactly. So there are definitely things to think about. And I think in that you have to have that like flexible expectations, right? Like,
Mhm.
some things are going to hit and some things maybe aren't. If something's not working and you're still super passionate about that, like you love to bake, people are raving about your products. Maybe the way you're selling it isn't working, right? So you have to be flexible in how you're doing things, right? I think that that's a big thing. And then like honestly talk to yourself about like realistically, when am I going to be able to work on this business? Am I working during nap times? Am I working on the weekend, maybe when my husband's at home? um, and another really important thing is setting boundaries for yourself, right? Like
Yeah.
if you I get that at the beginning of this podcast, I said like you have to, put your whole self into these businesses to really make them work. But there also comes a balance and boundaries in that, right? So if you know that you can only put an hour into marketing yourself a week, then schedule that in, make it happen, and do that. And if it doesn't get done, we try again next week, So I think just putting boundaries around how much you're actually doing that side hustle, that's going to create just great things within the family, right? You don't want anyone to feel like, oh, well, you're doing this and it's taking time away from our family time or whatever that may be, right? And as your business grows, of course, you can outsource when possible, right? So, have somebody to help you, or maybe you are making a little bit of money, but you don't really understand social media and don't want to do that. Great. There's people that can do that for you. Right. So it's just those little things you just have to all take into consideration. And I do love one of our notes here, and it says, like, build for sustainability and not for social media.
Mhm.
Like, oh, so to start a business, again, we talk ourselves out of it. Oh, I only have 300 followers. You don't need 100,000 followers, right? I think sometimes the smaller accounts, because you've built that community, your reach, it might not be super great, but your community is supportive. They're commenting on your stuff, they're sharing your stuff, they're engaged in your content, they're constantly commenting. That can give you more purchases of your product than having 10,000, 100K followers, because you have a community who is supporting you, right? And, you know, I feel like when people start a small business, they think that their family and friends are going to be their number one supporters, and they're usually not.
They usually
They're
want the
usually not.
discounts and yeah.
Yeah, they want everything for, you know, can you take my pictures for exposure? No, because I can't pay my bills with exposure. Okay. So there are certain things to think about in that aspect, but I do think that those smaller accounts sometimes really can bring in that money. And they might not even be all your friends and family, but they're people who are engaging in your content. Like, you don't need viral reels to make money. You need clarity and you need consistency. That consistent, like, people always say, like, consistency is key. Guys, it fucking is.
Mhm.
It really, really is, especially if you're building something online.
It
It's
feels like it's like the number one thing that works is when you're being consistent. Like
yeah.
you guys being here listening to this podcast, you're probably here because you love us, but like you're probably here because you know that we're gonna keep coming back. You know that you can rely on a new episode. I mean, we just skipped one for the holidays, but usually we're here every Monday with you, and it's that
Yeah.
consistency that keeps you kind of being like, oh yeah, I forgot. There's
Yeah.
a new episode today. Like, you know, that
So this
reliability.
is your cue to subscribe to our
Yes.
podcast.
And
Um,
and
but
comment
I
all of your business ideas that you've had sitting in your notes app, you know? Your slow growing accounts are authentic, right? There's so many things going on a while back where it was like people would pay for followers and you would see these accounts with all these blank faces of thousands and thousands of followers, but that doesn't do anything for you. Sure, the number looks good if you're trying to get like certain like appeal, right? But now I don't even think they look at the numbers anymore when you're working with other businesses. They're more so looking at, well, what is the last reel that you posted? What is the, you know, what kind of traction are you getting on your account? And you want people,
yeah.
yes, that are there because they want to be there, not just as a number.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Before we get into rapid fire, I do want to talk about the practical starter steps. So if you are someone who is thinking about starting a business and maybe you don't even really know where to start, great tips are to brainstorm like a couple of skills. So what are you good at? What do you love? Those are key things, obviously, because if you can talk about something for an hour just off the cuff, that's probably something that you can share with others that's going to make impact, right? Ask people. Ask people what they already come to you for. So if somebody's constantly being like, hey, like, do you got that sourdough bread happening over there? Like, can you bring me some? I want some. Like, that might be something that you could sell. Um, Test something for 30 days. So, you know, try something for 30 days. Don't just try it for a week and be like, "Oh, I've gained one follower and it's just not working." That's not or one follower in one day that it's just not working. You need to be consistent
Mhm.
in order to see that growth, right? Setting clear work hours, which is again, those boundaries, right? And then open a separate business bank account. So if this is something that is happening for you, the best thing you can do is to start a separate business bank account. It doesn't need to be a business account. Okay.
Oh,
Business
God, yeah.
accounts can get very expensive.
Learned that the hard way.
Yeah, so I do Simply,
Same.
and
Yeah,
I can send
beautiful.
you guys a link. We can get that all together. But Simply is honestly great. It's a free account and it's a great way to have your money separate so that you can track your income and expenses right from day one. Okay. Track your income and expenses. Keep your dang receipts. Okay. If you're going into business, keep your dang receipts. But also, it's just like keep it simple and actionable. So you can do this. If it's something that's on your heart, I promise you, you can do it. And you're going to love it because it gives you control. You're not answering to anyone. You are the one, right? So, yeah, anyways. Okay, let's do some rapid fire. So, one thing I wish I knew before starting.
It's not as hard as it seems. You
Right.
just got to figure it out.
It can feel very overwhelming for sure. And it's truly not. Biggest mistake I made.
The business account that I was spending almost $100 in fees every month.
My goodness.
Thank you, TD.
Yeah, brutal. Biggest mistake I made, I think, was constantly discounting my sessions in the beginning. And not really understanding my worth. I think that was maybe one thing I wish I knew before starting was my worth. I think sometimes we when we're so new, we think, oh, I'm not as good as this person, so I can't charge as much or do as much. And you absolutely can. So
Value yourself and your time.
yeah,
Yes.
value yourself. And like to an extent, if you want to be a wedding photographer, I highly suggest you go and second shoot before you go and take that on by yourself. But yeah, there's beauty in the growth. So most freeing part of being a mompreneur.
Oh my God, my time. Having that time
Yeah.
with my kids is huge. Being able to go do things at the school and field trips and all of the beautiful things. And like I said, like especially with boundaries, I've never been healthier than since I've set those boundaries. Like touch wood, but
I love that so
time.
much.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the best part is just being able to be there for my kids' things. I can do anything I want, right? I can make my own hours. So that's the best part. What actually makes the biggest difference
I think
in terms of what?
for my business, I think it's having a reliable employee or two that I can kind of lean on. That's huge for me. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in cleaning.
Or partner, even in life, right? A reliable partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think obviously having a supportive partner, I mean, that makes a big, like people always ask me like, how did you go back to work at 6 weeks? And it's like, well, I had my mom and I had Dave. And so I could just shut off and not be a mom for 10 hours, I mean,
Still
my boobs knew we were a mom, but like I just kept going. So work during nap time, or no, this is a this or that. You have a little bit of time. Work during nap time or wake up before the kids?
I would wake up before the kids probably so that I have
I would
white coffee.
absolutely not. I'm doing it during nap time, friends, or bedtime. I'm not waking up before the kids. Are you crazy? No, thank you. But my little guy wakes up at like 6:30. So anyway, coffee shop CEO day or kitchen table hustle?
No idea what that means, but I'm always down for a coffee shop.
I feel like it's just like, are you just like working from your kitchen table late at night or are you hitting up the coffee shop? And I really think I'm going to the coffee shop. Sticky notes everywhere or a digital planner?
Oh God, I think both. I think I try so hard to do everything all at once. So all of the things, and then I get overwhelmed and do nothing.
Okay, I am a sticky note girl. I got sticky notes all over this place. Everywhere, notepads. I'm constantly writing things down. If it's not written in pen in my calendar, I don't know about it and it's not happening. So just FYI to everyone out there. Big launch energy or slow, consistent growth?
I feel like just based on my history, I'm a slow consistency kind of girl. Like
Okay.
it is
I
just
feel like
what the
I'm
universe
big
wants
launch
for me.
energy.
Yeah, yeah. And I love
But that doesn't always work well.
Yeah, but I love that there's like a, difference there.
I love it. Outsource early or DIY everything first?
I DIY'd everything first. And then I learned that I could lean into outsourcing a little bit and not feel so guilty about it.
Yeah. Build in public or build quietly?
Oh gosh, build quietly. Just build quietly and then to the public.
I am really such a build in public. I'm like, this is what I'm doing, guys. Jump on board.
Wrong with that. Yeah.
No, I love that we're different in there. Structured schedule or flexible flow?
I got to be flexible.
Okay. I like a good schedule, but all right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. So if you've been waiting for a sign to start, you're welcome. This might be it. Not because entrepreneurship is easy, because it absolutely isn't. But because building something of your own can be one of the most empowering things that you do, not just for your bank account, but for yourself and for your identity. Your kids don't need a perfect mom. They need a mom who believes in herself. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another mom who has an idea sitting in her notes app. And as always, we appreciate you for being here. This podcast was something we moved from our notes app into the real world, and it brings us so much joy being able to share it with you. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next.
Well, that went by fast. Kind of like every quiet moment we try to have in real life.
Right? I swear I just sat down, and now it's already time to get back up again.
Story of our lives. But before we head back into the chaos, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
We hope this episode made you laugh, think, or at least reminded you that you're not the only one trying to hold it all together.
Because none of us really have it figured out. We're all just doing our best, one cup of coffee and one deep breath at a time.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit that follow or subscribe button so you never miss when we finally get to sit down again.
And share it with a friend who could use a little reminder that it's okay to take a break, because she deserves it too.
You can find us over on Instagram and TikTok at ijustsatdown.podcast. We love hearing from you, your stories, your wins, and even your "you won't believe what happened to me today" moments.
Next week, we're diving into
just chatting and catching up on life.
It's going to be a good one, so get comfy because by the time you finally sit down, we'll be right here with you.